For sure he is, and he's a self-assured and very potentially dangerous fish out of water, and we find out just how dangerous he is a little bit later in this episode. So
yeah.
Yeah, and so we then go to Boyd, and we find that Boyd and Wynn and Catherine are having a conversation. So Boyd's mission has been to find out where Calhoun Schreier, who's the real estate agent who's facilitating these land transactions, is keeping the money that is being used to buy this land. And Catherine wants Boyd to steal that money. And Boyd has struggled to find the money primarily because he has failed to realize up until this point that there's a man behind the man. He is assuming that Calhoun Schreier has a big pile of money somewhere that he's using to fund this land acquisition. And the reality is that he is just working for somebody just like everybody else. And nobody really knows this at this point, except maybe Catherine. I don't know what she knows or doesn't know at this point. But she might know that there's more to this story. But I think the important kind of element of this scene, besides Boyd feeling a little betrayed that they sent him on a wild goose chase for some ledgers and deeds, is that Catherine asks about Ava and about how it's so lucky that she got out of prison and that guard recanted his statement and all this, essentially heavily implying that, hey, Ava might be an informant and you should probably be concerned about her. And Boyd shuts that talk down immediately, which is interesting because you have to figure that Boyd was thinking sort of the same thing when he's sitting there staring at Ava after killing Dewey because Dewey might be an informant. It's interesting to see Boyd's reaction, and it almost is as if the moment that someone else points it out to him, it kind of refutes it for him in his mind because he has a very sort of visceral reaction to that insinuation.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, at least wouldn't that go through your mind though? I mean, I don't know why. Why would somebody pointing that out make you decide, hey, that's all BS. I don't believe it, or not necessarily that he doesn't believe it, but I don't know. Maybe he was doing it just to, just for the sake of saving face in front of her.
It could be. It's cognitive dissonance, right? Like, well, if I thought she was an informant, I would never let her anywhere near me. And I'm too good of a criminal to allow that to happen. So you suggesting that she might be an informant is maligning how good of a criminal I am. And I'm not going to sit here and tolerate that, sort of thing. Maybe that's what's going on there. I don't know. Even at the end of the episode, when he's a little standoffish with her until she kind of throws herself at him, he's standoffish because he's had a bad day and he's not really happy about the way their interactions have gone. It doesn't feel like he's standoffish because he's suspicious of her intentions.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a blind spot for him.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's supposedly in love with her.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So
maybe that's it.
Well, I don't know. We'll find out maybe as the season progresses, but we get to meet Calhoun Schreier. He's a real estate agent. He's crooked as all hell. But Tim and Raylan go to visit him. He wants to sell Arlo's place, and he says he already has a buyer lined up. I wonder who that could be. Because Ty Walker comes out of the bathroom at the same time, and Raylan has already met Mr. Walker, and they let Schreier know that his safe deposit box has been robbed, and he immediately panics and then pretends that it was empty. And Walker actually buys it, which is pretty marvelous. I did not expect that Walker would buy that the safe deposit box had been emptied the day before. But he does. And when When the marshals leave, they leave their card with him. There's a fun little exchange between between Tim and Ty Walker, where Ty Walker goes, "Oh, you're kind of a dick, aren't you?"
Yeah,
which is a great little moment. And when they leave, they Ty Walker makes a call and tells them to follow the marshals, because basically the idea here is, hey, if we find the guy, if we find the guy the marshals are looking for, that's the guy who robbed the bank. That's the guy who is our arch villain. We need to find out why he robbed the bank and who told him to rob that safe deposit box, and we get everything we need. And that's when we find out kind of how dangerous Ty can be, where he says, we tie him up, we kill him, or we tie him up, we yank his teeth out until he tells us what we want to know, and then maybe we kill him. And Schreier's freaking out, and he goes, "Oh, I'm just kidding. We definitely kill him."
Yeah.
And so we see that there's a little bit of there's some violence possible here. Now the marshals. Yeah,
I was going to say, I think that it's like, it is very similar to Gary, where maybe Ty's in over his head. And,
or
he
Schreier, exactly. You mean, is in over his head?
No, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Schreier,
yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
So. It's a little Win Duffy, Gary sort of situation. Even the jovial kind of nature of Ty Walker, like he's saying this all with a smile on his face and in a very friendly tone, not in a threatening way, but it's very similar to sort of the way Win Duffy was interacting with Gary. Yeah. Deadly serious, but at the same time sort of friendly, kind of your buddy. Yeah. So the marshals know they're being followed, though, because they're marshals and because the person following them is Choo-Choo. And Raylan sets up a little bit of a trap for their pursuer, and I have a little bit of a clip of that. Uh-oh.
Get out of the road, cockholster!
Well, that ain't polite. Just about hit me. Now you're going to sling foul utterances in my direction?
You're in the middle of the road. I'm driving.
I can see that. Where to?
Call you back. It's none of your business, officer.
U.S. Marshal.
Still none of your business.
Let me get this straight, son. Where you're following me to is none of my business. That's how you see it?
I'm not following you.
Step out of the car. Stretch your legs a bit. God damn. You comfortable in this car, man your size?
It's a little tight.
Yeah.
So where's your buddy?
Who's that?
The guy you were with.
How do you know I was with the guy if you ain't been following me?
I'm not following you.
Are you saying you ain't following me like you don't know what I'm saying, or are you just repeating this bullshit about you ain't been following me?
Not following you?
Son, are you real smart or real stupid?
Choo-Choo.
Excuse me, what?
Choo-Choo.
You're saying your name is Choo-Choo?
Since I was a kid, folks called me Choo-Choo.
Because you like trains?
So when I hit you, it comes hard, it comes fast. Like a choo-choo train. You wanna try me?
Not today, Choo-Choo. Today I'm just gonna take your car.
And that's exactly what he does. He takes his car, leaves him standing on the road. And, we talked about this in an episode that's going to release before this one, where we talked about some groundless city prime, or some justified city primeval stuff. But it's definitely a sort of modern Who's on First with the I'm not following you. It's very shticky, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it. But it's not my favorite line from that exchange. And my favorite line from that exchange is our Kentucky Fried Wisdom moment of the week.
Say, boy, you cover about as much as a flapper skirt in a high wind. Pay attention, boy. Look at me when I'm talking to you, son. Look, sister, is any of this filtering through that little blue bonnet of yours? Pay attention, son. Look at me when I'm talking to you.
Yeah, it's get out of the road, cock holster. which is about as graphic thing as anyone says on Justified. I mean, this is this is basic cable sort of TV, and the word cock holster is Yeah, it's pretty good for a basic cable. So I enjoyed.
I thought it was cock holster. Is it cock holster?
It's cock holster. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one. I liked that a lot. That made me laugh. And yeah, so they take Choo-Choo's car, and Raylan calls Tim, tells him, hey, forget about investigating the safe deposit boxes. There's somebody I want you to meet, and sends him back around to pick up Choo-Choo. And from there, Tim picks up Choo-Choo, and they arrive at a pizza place. And the pizza place seems to be the base of operations. We meet another new character, Seabass, when they get there. And Choo-Choo and Tim's looking around and asking questions, and Seabass is immediately suspicious, and Choo-Choo's just sharing everything he knows, and they were in Iraq together, and their boss owns the building that they're in, and all these things. And so Tim gets a little bit of intel, and then reveals that he's a marshal. And on his way out, Choo-Choo asks if Tim can send a Raylan back with his car, which is great. I love it. But there's a moment there also where Choo-Choo kind of spirals on himself, where he's like, and killing and killing and killing and killing. It's really good. Choo-Choo's a fantastic character, and apparently he took some shrapnel to the head in Iraq, and so he's not been quite the same since. I don't think he was a rocket scientist before that, but now he's a little touched.
I wonder, you know what? Did he say that he got his name Choo-Choo from Iraq, or was it like before then?
It was before then. He talks about I think it was in school ever since he was a kid, they said.
Okay. So he probably wasn't really a rocket scientist even before he got hit in the head.
No, you wouldn't think so.
Yeah,
you wouldn't think so. I mean, he's definitely muscle. I mean, the guy's huge. Yeah. Well, seeing him, it's a great little visual gag. Seeing him get out of that little tiny car.
Yeah, that's always funny to me
every time.
But I had a note here, because one of the things that I noticed is that they kind of did, like when Tom Cruise played Jack Reacher, they did like some of the camera angles and stuff like that of making him look. So I'm wondering how tall he is.
Yeah, they made him look like he was like 6 inches taller than Raylan. But
yeah. And Raylan's supposed to be 6 feet, I guess, or that's what Timothy Oliphant's height is. So I'm wondering if he's actually that high, like maybe 6'6".
That's
6'7".
Really tall. I mean, tall. That's you're getting on NBA tall when you start talking about that kind of height. So
so I wonder if that actor is really that tall, or if they just did some of the camera tricks and stuff like to make it seem like he's taller than he really is.
I think they did some camera tricks, because I don't remember him appearing to be that tall when Tim, who's significantly shorter than Raylan, is in the pizza place with him.
Yeah.
So, but so that's the story with Choo-Choo. But we now get to meet another new character, and that new character is played by Sam Elliott. His name is Avery Markham, and he gets to bang Mary Steenburgen and smoke pot with her in bed afterwards. And she's looking absolutely fantastic, by the way. Definite GILF territory with Mary Steenburgen. But we get a little bit of backstory and a little bit of detail on Avery Markham and what his deal is, because Catherine mentioned she's having some trouble with her business, and he gives her some advice.
Okay, I'm worried an employee of mine's stealing from me.
An employee?
Mm-hmm.
You open up a donut shop?
The gardener.
So fire him.
He's in the middle of a big landscaping project, It would be a real chore getting rid of him right now.
You know what I do? Keep my people loyal.
Do tell.
Overpay them. Christmas bonus, Easter bonus, President's Day bonus, Pappy Van Winkle on their birthday. Don't nobody bite this hand.
Yeah, well, it must be a little harder to turn a profit, I would imagine.
There's plenty to go around. And it's a small price to pay for loyalty.
Right, but what if one of them did betray you? What would you do then? Cut off a finger the way Grady used to?